What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the CU4 YouTube channel. Carlisle United with a horrendous away performance again here in League 2. MK Dons 3, Carlisle United 0 was the final score, meaning we've conceded 7 away goals in 2 games in the league this season, which is ridiculous. An awful start to the season, a tough place to go, don't get me wrong, down at MK Dons, but I don't think we covered ourselves in a lot of glory. To be fair, I thought that MK Dons played us off the park. They tore us apart, and we looked like a very, very lower. I can't get the words out here. We look like a very relegation scared team, to be honest. I thought. It was a hard watch. It was a really tough 90 minutes. To be completely honest, it reminded me a lot of the games from last season, where we looked frightened to do anything, and you would have liked to think we wouldn't be getting performances like that this season with the recruitment that we've done in the summer. We've got some good players in. On paper, we have a very good team. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that on the pitch for many reasons, and To look at the game, MK Dons, they deserve to win. I have no complaints with that. I don't think we created anything, really. A couple of half chances, but nothing that would trouble McGill in their goal. To start the game, it was a very slow, possession-based game, to be honest with you. It was very, very boring. It was a boring game anyway, because we didn't create anything, but it was a very boring first 20-odd minutes of the game. MK Dons very comfortable in the possession, as you can see there. Over the game, they kept 67% possession, and throughout this season, they've kept 70% possession consistently. They just hadn't won this season up until we come to town, of course. But, they were very happy in playing that possession football, but we allowed them to do it. Generally, my main thing in the first half, what I've took from this, which I was really happy about, there was a moment in the game where Sam Lavelle just lumped the ball clear. It's not a pass or anything, it's just clearing the ball. And Dan Ajayi has ran onto it and made an opportunity from it. It wasn't a very good opportunity, to be honest with you. The opportunity in the end came to nothing, but it was an opportunity from nothing. And we haven't had that since, I want to say, off the top of my head, your Tristan Dennis and Marvin Patrick a couple of seasons ago in the promotion season. Of course, 2 players that will be returning to Bunter Park next week. But that chance, Sam Lavelle clears the ball, there's no one up front, and then all of a sudden Dan Ajayi just runs at it, doesn't give it up, wins the ball. As I say, unfortunately, it does come to nothing in the end. But it was really good to see, a young lad hungry to play for the team, hungry to play for the badge and get involved with things like that, chasing every single ball. And we'll get on to it later on because he didn't play in the first half. But I thought the other young lad from Bournemouth looked really good as well in this tiny little cameo he had in the game. But Aaron Hayden had an opportunity in the first half. It was a curling effort. There wasn't really a lot of power and pace in it, and I'm sure their goalkeeper was very happy just to collect it. And then, unfortunately, things went downhill from there. I thought Ben Williams, he's been fantastic since he came in, don't get me wrong. I thought he had a very poor game today. He didn't look very sharp today. A lot of them didn't look sharp, don't get me wrong. But, that both for the first 2 goals did come from his position on the pitch. The first one was a through ball that beat Ben Williams. Ben Williams went to ground, didn't win it. And the cross comes in. Lado's in a lot of space. Hendry's in a lot of space. It's a great finish, don't get me wrong. Really good finish from Callum Hendry to put it into the back of the net to make it 1-0. But he had so much room, and you can't give players space like that in any game of football, especially strikers, like your Callum Hendry, like your Alex Gilby, as we see later on in the game. But a great finish from Hendry to make it 1-0. Poor defensively, don't get me wrong. We didn't cover ourselves in glory, but really good finish from him. And then basically you can copy and paste that goal again, a through ball down the wing, and it takes Ben Williams out the game. The cross comes in, and it's a tap-in for Alex Gilby. Similar position again, really. Too much space to make it 2-0, and it was disappointing to see, but, Carlisle weren't creating anything in the midfield. We defensively we were poor. Attackingly, we hadn't created a lot. So we deserved to be getting beat at that point. I thought we also had a bit of a let-off. Some really good play from MK Dons, some quick movement. And the shot comes in, Harry Lewis parries it out. Their striker goes to get it. Ben Williams puts a slide tackle in. For me, clear penalty. Luckily, he was offside. But I don't know why he was going to ground, to be honest. But yeah, that would have been a penalty. Moving into the second half, then Archie Davis had a good run, good movement. You had Charlie White one side of him, you had Dan Ajuajay the other side of him. I thought he was going to play in Charlie White. He actually played it to Dan, who went for the curling effort. No, it's a terrible effort in the end. Really poor effort. It was a real good opportunity, and you'd like to think with a bit more sharpness. And this goes for all of our attackers. I'm not just looking at Dan for this one. A bit more sharpness and confidence in running a goal. That's a goal. A real opportunity for Carlisle. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite take it. And that would have been an opportunity to get back into the game with quite a bit of the second half to play. Dan Ajay's last opportunity, a cross came in, and he does well from the angle that he's in, but he's never going to trouble the goalkeeper from that angle. And then, we've seen the young lad Dominic Seydoux come onto the pitch. I thought he looked sharp, he looked attacking. Maybe that bit of creativity that we've been missing. He was happy to move the ball forward, and it was good to see, very lively for sure. He, what did he do? I've got it written down here. He had a volley from a cross. Cross came in and he took on the volley. A good save from their goalkeeper. And just, really lively to see. And I thought that around that opportunity, it was about the 77th minute, I did think, we were having a good spell of the game at that moment in time. And I thought if we could nick a goal this was the 77th, so if we could nick a goal before sort of the 82nd minute in the next 5 minutes or so, it could be a real nervy finish for MK Dons. Luke Armstrong did try to follow up from that shot, but unfortunately couldn't. John Mellish was putting in a few good crosses. He was, again, sort of our lifeline going forward. He was the one creating a lot of the opportunities. But then, unfortunately, we do have to get into something before their third goal. Georgie Kelly comes on the pitch for around about 8 minutes, then goes off injured. An absolute dreadful transfer this has been. Ridiculous. I honestly can't believe, just looking at it, what does he offer the club at the moment? It's ridiculous. And I'm sure he's a lovely lad and everything, but what is going on? He's made of glass. He's injured again. Did he feel a knock? Was it? I don't want to say it was the Bauer game. I can't remember. It was possibly the Stoke game where he felt a knock and couldn't play or something. And then he's come on for literally about 8 minutes in this one, and he's went off injured. Dan Butterworth being our sort of fourth choice attacking striker. Our attacking play is ridiculous. Dan Butterworth really looked sharp in pre-season. He really looked like towards the end of last season that he was going to be one of our standout players this season, and he's just dumped on the bench and he's not been given an opportunity so far this season. Sort of reminded me of Jordan Gibson from last season a little bit, to be honest. But just on the George Kelly one, and I'm saying what does he offer the team? I think at the minute we have a real problem with our attacking areas on the pitch. I think that on paper, the players are very good. The names, Luke Armstrong, George Kelly, Charlie White, you got Dan Butterworth. You can slightly include Ajuajay, but I think he has been our best striker, to be fair. But, White, Armstrong, Kelly, very good League Two players on paper. What's going wrong? We haven't seen even 50% of what these players can do yet. Charlie White looks sluggish. He looks off it. Luke Armstrong, we're not seeing Luke Armstrong who played for Harrogate banging in goal after goal after goal. Georgie Kelly, we haven't seen anything of Georgie Kelly yet because he's injured all the time. Dan Butterworth, we're seeing glimpses of him, but he's not given the opportunity to see the full amount of what he can offer this team, and it is really frustrating to watch. That's a little rant there, but. And, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think the problems are with Carlisle United at the moment? Because I'd love to know. I'd love to make a video on this, talking about all the, what's going wrong at the moment. But just as you thought the game couldn't get worse, I think it was Josh Vella that gave the ball away, number 16. Yeah, Josh Vella, a sloppy ball in the midfield, allows their lad to go through, Joe Tomlinson, and he looks like it's a cross more than anything, but it ends up going in the back of the net to make it 3-0, and that was the game set. And the game was set match a long time before that, but that was officially the nail in the coffin. And I think really what summed up our game in the 99th minute, in the last possible minute of the game, Luke Armstrong picks up on a defensive mistake. He goes through, he's got Dan Butterworth in the middle screaming for the ball, and then he slows the player down, loses the ball, and it comes to nothing. I think that really sums up Carlisle United at the current moment in time. But there you go. Carlisle 0, MK Dons 3. MK Dons 3, Carlisle 0. Of course, it was a Stadium MK. Very disappointing performance from Carlisle. After a positive performance against Barrow in what it was, very disappointing to then come away with this. But we've got a week now. Whatever happens in that week, I think some conversations do need to be had. I think, we really do need to... we have a few weeks before something needs to change drastically, in my opinion. I'm not going to go into massive detail about that. I think that will be for another video. But I think if we continue on this sort of, no game plan, there's not a lot of creativity in the midfield, there's not a lot of attack and threat. Defensively, we're not very good. We don't seem to have a plan B. You've got all these issues, and I think that something needs to give before it gets worse. But next up is Tranmere next Saturday, and I probably should have said it earlier in the video, but I just want to say a massive respect to all 734 Carlisle fans who made the trip down to Milton Keynes this afternoon. Incredible support as always, Blues. Fantastic from you guys. Safe travels back, whether it's train or if you're driving in this weather and everything. Safe travels back for you guys. But MK Dons 3, Carlisle 0 is the final score here at Stadium MK. But thank you so much for watching this video. I've been CU04, and I'll see you on Tuesday for the Tranmere 5-minute preview. It's gotta go somewhere.